Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and my schedule has been all sorts of messed up. This after Thanksgiving, it's just been this weird timing thing where I would be going to work earlier than usual, getting home, and then really not having a lot of time for anything. So, apologies for that. I'm gonna try to make up for it by doing a few videos today, but I do also have errands to run. Not that that's anything that you guys need to worry about, I'm just bringing it up because it is a thing. So let's real quick roll the soundtrack. Okay, well, I guess we're doing classic again. And today, we are going to start moving into Arcana Spotlight requests. And today's standard is one that got brought up because I had used it in a run, but then didn't really do anything with it aside from using it as a damage engine, and of course that is Mentus Imperium, which, you know, you hit enemies with it, it does a fair amount of damage, like it does 35 damage per hit, so it's not like it's weak or anything. The birds want to say hello, by the way. But the big draw to Mentus Imperium is that it charms enemies. And the enhancement causes that charmed enemy to move and attack more quickly. So, yeah, the whole idea behind this is to completely throw a monkey wrench into your enemy's formation, because what will happen is that all of the enemies that are a part of the fight will just stop what they're doing if they're close enough to that charmed enemy and start attacking that enemy instead. So the two ideas that would probably work best for this particular Arcana would be to either use it with alongside a power build, or to use it alongside a like low cooldown kind of higher tempo build. Mainly just to make sure that we have access to Mentus Imperium more frequently. Not that a 6-second cooldown is horrible, but it's really noticeable when you just get the one quick effect, like the arrow shot, and then you just have to go from there. That having been said, I think what I'm going to do is, if I had to take the choice between attack power or cooldown, I would say, but why not both? So that's what we're going to do. We are going to definitely take a slightly more dangerous route today. It worked out well last time. Now, because we want to play at range, I think, looking over my options real quick, obviously Dragon Circuit is a good one. Ooh, pardon me. Aqua Beam is also a good option. Wind Flare, not for a power build. Obviously, Gust Volley is good. Dragon Arc is pretty good for this, so is Exploding Fireball. I think I will take Dragon Arc. I was considering Dragon Circuit, but I kind of want to do Dragon Arc. It's just what I'm feeling today. Let's see. But now the other question rears its head, which is, how do we want to go about doing this? And when I say that, I mean, do I want to run the the retro floor plan as per usual? Or, because I can charm enemies and cause mass havoc, do I run the melting pot in order to strategically grab hold of enemies that are, you know, more powerful in given circumstances? And I think, again, because it's different, I kind of want to run melting pots. Like, I don't often take a lot of time to run very different run very different things, because I'm just so essentially inundated with the retro floor plan and showing you guys really, I guess for lack of a better term, higher difficulty runs. But this time around, I think we should do something a little different. And I do think it's important to see to it that we, at least every now and again, have something a little different going on. Because I don't want... Well, for one, I don't necessarily want to be predictable. Even though that's... Okay, scratch that. I'm fine with predictability. But I think what I'm trying to say is that I don't want to always be doing the same thing. Now, admittedly, that is a niche I'm comfortable with. But every now and again, it's nice to change things up. You know, a change of scenery helps out a little. And because we're trying to highlight Mentus Imperium, I want to do so with the most interesting way that I can, and not just be like, here it is, now watch it not do very well against this giant horde of enemies. No, I'm gonna do my best to try to make it stand out, and of course I get the retro floor plan right there. It's like the one time I'm not trying to get it right away, and it shows up like nearly right away. In the meantime, I'm going to be looking for the melting pot, and of course the game is going to be like, melting pot? What's that? Here, have retro floor plan 8 times. But I'm hoping to really show off the strength of being able to charm an enemy in an enemy group. Now, this does fall subject to some of the problems that other status effect builds have, in that enemies that don't really get hit by status effects won't really react to this either. So, like, stone golems, or, like, mini-bosses, or bosses. And obviously with bosses, that's just a one-on-one fight, so not a whole lot going on there. Of course, you're not going to be able to charm bosses. Which is a shame, because there is one boss I'm really interested in charming, but that is, you know, Darksage, you're really degenerate. But yeah, the inability to hit some enemies with status effects does make things a little trickier for Mentus Imperium. So take that with a grain of salt. In some cases, I'm just going to be using Mentus Imperium for damage instead of throwing off the enemy formations. And why am I having such a hard time finding Melting Pot now that I want to see it? Jeez! Now, you guys know that I don't heavily there it is. I don't heavily edit my videos, but god, this time feels like it kind of deserves it. Alright, let's go. Sweet, immediate dead end. Living up to my reputation. And see, this is the bonus, is that now the enemies are going to be more focused on that. And that is the big bonus of Mentus Imperium, is that it can take a lot of heat off of you and put its and put it elsewhere. So, yeah. So as you can see, I don't really want evading Zephyr. Sorry. And no, it's not a personal thing. I don't think it's weak or anything. So as you can see, the Mentus Imperium doesn't exactly work on bigger enemies, which is a shame. But it does work on the regular elemental enemies, and that in and of itself can generally be enough to swing the tide of battle in your favor if you're having a hard time with things. And because all the other enemies that are near it will stop and start attacking the charmed enemy, it's just a spell that's really good for pulling attention away from yourself. And those of you who are particularly familiar with my work with the Stalwart Defenders will know that that is one of the things I like about Stalwart Defenders so much, is that it draws attention away from yourself and onto them. But they can't take damage, so they're just, ha! Look at them trying pointlessly to hit me, they suck. Double KO. Now, the other really strong bonus point to Mentus Imperium is that it does just do good damage, just all by itself. Hey, get over there and hit him. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So even if you can't charm a particularly high-value target, that was not smart. You can just count on it to do some damage. And sometimes that's all you really need. What am I going up against? Lightning and wind. So now the question is, how do I feel about Storm Draft? I'll take it. Oh, we definitely want this. Now, I didn't want to interject into that fight because I wanted them to basically do the work for me. That fight could have gone better. Alright, so we aren't making a ton of money, so I need to kind of be careful with what I'm spending my cash on. But I do think the Relic Rewards card is definitely worth taking. Like I said, this is part of why I like having the retro floor plan. But I wanted to show off Mentus Imperium in a different light. And that's largely because, let's be fair, it doesn't exactly do great in a huge group of enemies where the target that you charm will just get ganged up on. The downside being that because of how the flow of the game normally works, I just won't get a ton of money. Again, mirroring real life a little too much. And somehow I hit more than one enemy with that. How did I do that? I'll tell you how I did that. I have no idea. Sorry, I thought you thought I was gonna drop some knowledge on you, didn't you? No, I just have no clue how I hit more than one enemy with that. Okay, so our goal now is to have 200 golds to upgrade both Stone Shot and Mentus. I'm going to take Stone Shot first, and we will see if we are lucky enough to get either Dr. Song or Nocturne. Where am I going? Man, classic Dark Sage, him not knowing where he's going. See, this would have been the better time to take over the Ice Knight, because he would be the more effective one in combat. And there we go. Yeah, take that. See, and that's what I really like about this, is that the enemies do recognize when one of their own has been charmed, so it turns into this thing where it's not just hitting one enemy, it's disrupting the entire formation. And I know I've said that a good few times, but hopefully I've highlighted it properly, you know? And unfortunately... Alright, so Mentus Imperium is still our priority here. So like I was explaining earlier, you can't actually charm those guys, but they will still redirect and attack other charmed enemies, so even taking... I don't want to say take control, because it's not quite right, but charming even something as basic as a ghoul still really helps. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab the upgrade after I tell my glucose monitor to shut up. Trying to decide this, because so many metrics are boosted by upgrading the robe. I think that might actually be the smarter choice, just because this boosts so many things: damage, run speed, and cooldowns. It's damage and cooldowns that I'm really thinking about here. Having those two things get stronger is definitely a benefit. Okay, that actually was kind of nice. Getting both of the discount cards, really helpful. Hey, Dark Sage, why were you zigzagging there? Was there a speed tech there that we don't know about? No, I just feel like I have some sort of mild OCD because I was trying to walk perfectly down the middle of the path. There we go. Ice Seekers, do I want that? And the answer is no, but I'll take it just because it's a freebie. I don't know, maybe it'll do fine. See? Satisfying. And yeah, just sitting there watching the enemies fight is a little slow, but it's hard to deny that it is just really satisfying to watch the enemies fight amongst themselves and just get some free damage in. And they stay charmed for a really long time, too. It's not like it's a short thing that only lasts for a few seconds, and then suddenly they go, wait, where am I? What was I doing? You basically hit them and they just go, yes, master. See, that's another big benefit, is because elemental enemies have spells, you can make enemies waste spells on each other and not even target you with them. It's just so abusable. But Dark Sage, you said it didn't work with Retro Floor Plan. I didn't say it didn't work. I said it's less effective. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. Matter of fact, it works just fine. Problem is, it doesn't work as fine because there are so many more enemies. So it's much less of a, get off me thing as it would normally be. Yep. And of course, they're both Earth enemies, so nothing great happens there. Okay, somehow that worked, even though I completely missed. Alright, so now the question is, do I upgrade that, or put a little bit more time and focus into the adorable mimic? There isn't necessarily a wrong answer, it's just... And while the ghouls are doing my job for me... And by now, you're seeing just how restrictive the amount of money you get without the retro floor plan is. So, the reason why I'm pointing that out is because it is actually way more restrictive than I think most people remember. Like, it becomes really difficult to get a bunch of relics to power up a mimic, per se, because you're spending way less time in combat. Admittedly, though, the rooms are a bit more varied, and I'm totally down for that. Alright, so we're not going to be able to get a whole lot out of the Mimic, but I think we do take the Blinding Binoculars because we are just going straight missile. Cruel chest clock, but I'm okay. Alright, now that we have Mentus Imperium upgraded, we should test that out on somebody. Oh, of course. So, yes, it does make you the charmed enemy a little bit faster and a little bit stronger. That's the thing, it's not a huge difference, but I mean, it's obviously enough to outspeed other enemies in the same class. And with Ice Seekers acting like a decent control option, at least until I find something better. Frost Fan would be preferred, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, man. Yes, go fast, Rogue. Owie. Yeah, that's what you get. You get wall slammed. I will admit that while I'm using Mentus Imperium, I'm getting a real kick out of just sitting back and watching the enemies fight each other. Like, obviously I don't use this Arcana very often. And I say obviously not to point out, oh, it's not worth using, because that's not what I'm getting at. I just don't use it very often. There's plenty of spells in the game that are perfectly fine, or even really good, that I just don't use very often. This is one of those spells that the reason why I don't use it very often is just because I get tracked into using other things half the time. But see, that's kind of what you're supposed to do, is create havoc with it, and then get in there and just wreck face. Also, even though I do mostly play with the retro floor plan now, it is nice to see the wider variety of rooms. Like, I don't get to see a lot of these rooms very often because I am mostly playing with the retro floor plan, which is just a lot of arenas. So again, it's nice to see something different. That's what I was talking about earlier. Alright, so I would like to grab something to donate to the good doctor. Now, I was gonna try to charm the Lancer, but... Wow! Never underestimate my ability to miss the broadside of a barn. There we go. Okay. Don't know how I feel about that, but hey, if I need it, I've got it. That's the important part. Is there anything else here I want? Yes, but I'm not going to be able to afford it, so oh well. Moving on. You know what? Sure. Give me that Chaos Visor. Oh, one more benefit to Mentus Imperium that I don't think I mentioned already, and that is that if the only enemy left on the field is a charmed enemy, it will not attack you. Six. Yeah, baby. See? He was the last enemy left, so he just said, alright, I'm cool. Standing guard. Works out so nicely, and I love it. But of course, you cannot charm the Macho Ghouls, which is a shame. I guess they figured that would be too overpowered. But I mean, if that's too OP, then, you know, why allow them to be misdirected by the other shit? I don't know. Maybe I'm just feeling a little salty about that. It's like, no, let me charm this enemy. It's the one I really want. But regardless, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Again, I am absolutely fine with how this spell works. I could replace Ice Seekers with Ice Spear. But let me see what else is around before I do that. Yeah, Flame Breath. I want that. Yeah, the only other thing here that's really good is Pazu's favorite hat. Which I might go for just because it's a big floppy Napoleon pirate hat. Owie. Okay, hold on. We've got 3 groups of enemies. Thing is, that's not as dangerous as having 2 groups of enemies on the retro floor plan, so... Also, way more pits in regular gameplay. Yeah, look at that. You can even turn the summoner's own summons against them. Oh, why did I keep attacking after I charmed him? Alright, well that was silly. Okay, so... yeah, let's grab that. Do I think I will need it? Probably not, to be fair. It's... there we go. Actually, I think I'm just going to move on. I kind of like the idea that Ice Seekers goes all over the place. Yeah! Nice. So, what you're seeing with Mentus Imperium is that its strength doesn't come just from its damage or the charm effect. It's that it just completely disrupts your enemy's plans. Like I said, less effective in the retro floor plan environment doesn't mean that it's not effective. You just have to pick and choose your attacks a bit more carefully. Also, excited birds say hello. Say hello to the excited birds. They just want all that attention. All to themselves. Okay, one thing I'm really not used to is how much more health enemies have when it's not on retro floor plan. Okay, go away. No one likes you anyway. As long as we have a charm-focused run, why not? So I think by now I've said pretty much all I have to say about Mentus Imperium. And hopefully you're all seeing the strength of it. Oops. Oh wow, that was a lot of damage. Ow. How dare you? I think as I've explained, the real strength to Mentus Imperium comes from the misdirection. It does such a good job of it. Now, I know I've already explained that that's one of the big reasons why I like Stalwart Defenders as well. But I mean, shit, it kind of bears repeating. It's a lot of the same strengths. Of course, now, the negative that you just saw there is that it's got a very narrow hitbox. So, gotta take the good with the bad on that one. I mean, to be fair, it is just an arrow. It would be ridiculous if it had, like, a big, wide cleave, like Flame Cleaver or anything. That would probably also make the spell a little OP. Like, it's already a powerful spell. We don't really need to give it that many more benefits. Thank you, Sturdy Wooden Easel. You're my friend. Thank you. Okay, this is an awkward fight. Like, how... Okay, I've never had that much trouble with that guy before. That was just weird. Okay, well, we probably don't need that anymore. Grab that. And grab that. Alright, I think we're good. Alright, let's lead off with Tracer Barrage. Yay, I missed. And that kind of worked. There we go. Alright, so this was a bit of a slower run in comparison to how I usually do it. But the benefit there is that we really got to play around with Mentus Imperium and show off its strengths, and I'm happy with that. And hopefully you're happy with that too. So thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate your continued support and you coming to spend some of your free time here with me today. And remember, if you have a request for an Arcana that you would like to see me do a spotlight on, by all means submit that either in my Discord or here on YouTube under the comments, obviously. And I would be happy to try out some of your Arcana that you would like to see me do a spotlight video on. Now, again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will see you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and you take care, everybody.